today. So for Tyler, we're gonna do Captain America's favorite bars, and these are called Gramma's mistakes. And if there are more mistakes in the world like this world would be a better place. So what we're gonna start out with is to make what we call the crust filling. Right, so we're using margarine, and a lot of recipes they'll say oleo. That's what my mom does, just to throw everybody off, and people are like, what's oleo? I don't know. So oleo is just margarine, and a lot of people say, oh, it's, you know, one molecule from plastic, but I don't know, for bars it works and it tastes good. So we're gonna do 2 sticks of margarine and get them in there, and they're soft because you're going to want to cream those. And we're going to put 1 cup of tightly packed brown sugar. So there's 1/2. And there's a full cup. And we're going to cream that together before we put everything else in there, because you want the butter and the sugar to be so happy together. So we're going to get that mixed up real good, and I'd like to start out on the beater a little bit slow so you don't make a mess, and have a deep bowl, but then you can crank it up so you can cream it. Make sure you get everything off the sides really well. Nice creamy consistency there, and you're styling. All right, then after you cream this, you're gonna put in your other stuff. So we're gonna put 1 cup of flour, there's 1 cup, and we're going to get a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're going to do 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You don't need a whole lot, but just a little bit to take the edge off. All right, and then we're going to put 2 cups of oats, quick oats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I'm using a half cup for my measurements here. I also have a little little pot going here, getting it warm on the side. And we're gonna just mix that all together. And 1/2 of this is gonna become crust, and 1/2 of this is going to become topping. So mix it all, make sure it's mixed in real good and even. So an even mixture. Looks pretty good. Should almost look like cookie dough, which is fantastic. That's what we like to see. Now, this is going to be our crust and our topping. We're going to have that on the side. And in this pot that I've got going, I'm going to put just a 1/2 cup or 1 stick of margarine in there. And we're going to add chocolate chips. And for that, we need about 12 ounces. Now, I'm going a little nuts here because some of these recipes call for people to put a little coffee in it. So I'm using the espresso Toll House chips that I got from Tina at the Rockland Depot just a little while ago. If you're ever looking for spices or baking stuff, she's got a really nice selection down there. So anyway, we need 12 ounces. These bags are 9 ounces, so we're gonna put about 1 1/3. I'm not measuring it. But 1 1/3 is gonna be about 12 ounces. So that's gonna be close. And we're gonna get that melting. And we're gonna add about 1 cup. You're supposed to add 1 cup of the sweetened condensed milk. That makes them soft. creamy. And one of these cans is a little bit more than a cup, but again, like I said, doesn't have to be perfect, but we're just gonna get that melting, stir it up a little bit, get that melting really good. And while that's heating up and melting, I'll get my pan ready. Just gonna use a regular cake pan here, and I like to use a non-stick pan for bars, just because it's easier. Give it a little spray, and we're gonna get the crust going in there. And yes, I washed my hands, so we can put about half of this in there. You just press it down. I like to use my fingers because I'm gonna make sure I cover the whole pan that way. It doesn't have to be, doesn't have to look perfect or anything, because this is just going to be the bottom of your bar. And you just want to make sure you fill up the bottom of your pan so it looks pretty. And every bite of your bar, you get some of the yummy stuff. Just rinse my fingers off. Stir up our chocolate a little bit more. She looks almost done. It's pretty close. As you can see with the espresso chips, it's a little darker. The butter's almost melted. I just want to make sure that butter's all the way melted. You can see it when you stir it. You can see there's a little bit left in there. Just once that's all melted, then you can pour this in. You keep it moving, keep it stirring. And that way you don't burn anything. The worst thing you can do on your soups and your bars and things like that when you're moving milk or milk products around, or even chocolate, is to scald it, because then it ruins everything. Everything will just taste burnt. And my mom and my Uncle Jack and my Aunt Sally love burnt stuff on the grill in the summer, but we don't want burnt. Doesn't taste good. So we almost have our margarine completely melted here. It's really close, and it's got a creamy consistency. So you gotta like that. You can't go wrong with bars. And we're getting some spaghetti tonight from a fundraiser for girls basketball. So I don't have to cook supper, so that's why I'm doing extra bars, because, well, I want to have a nice dessert. And we invited Grandma over too. So that looks pretty good. I don't see any more of the margarine in there. So we're going to just pour this over the top, get it all out of there, nice and even. And you're gonna cook these for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It'll settle a little bit, but you want to just get it even. So we'll just spread that around. And with a no-stick pan, these will come out of the pan real easily. So you can see it's pretty even. Try to get most of that mixture off of there and in there. And then you just start sprinkling your mix on there, what's remaining. So then you have a little bit on top and a little bit on the bottom. And again, this is more so you get some of that little oatmeal goodness, a little crunchiness on the top of your bar. So I'm just gonna make sure I get most of or all of this out of there. Fill in some spots. So it'll look sort of like a chocolate oatmeal minefield, which is perfect. So those look pretty good. Again, then we're gonna put this in the oven for 25 minutes at 350 degrees. Center rack. I already preheated the oven, so we're gonna set her for 25 degrees, or 25 minutes at 350 degrees, 25 degrees. It's good maybe for your walleye bouncers, but not necessarily good for, actually it's more for like 45 degrees, but if you're going slow enough. Anyway, you're gonna get these out, let them settle, cool down, then you can cut them into nice even squares and you got dessert. All right, we'll see you on the next one.